UFC 277, Pena versus Nunes 2 takes place in only a matter of hours, and I'm going to go through my last minute's detailed prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card. I'm not just saying who I believe is going to win. I did that earlier this week. I'm trying to predict how every single fight on the card is going to play out, what limb will be used for a KO blow, what submission will be achieved, what rounds the KO or submission will be achieved in, what the scorecards are going to read, and just in general how every single fight on the card is going to play out, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. Let's start straight away with the early prelim opener of Orion Cosce versus Mike Mathetha. There's a lot of prelims, so I'm going to race through some of these. I'm going to be going with Mike Mathetha. I believe that Orion Cosce is going to go out there. I'm not just saying why I believe they're going to win. I believe Orion Cosce is going to go out there, take him down in the first round. Mike Mathetha is going to get back up, and I think it's going to be a bit of a grueling moment for Mike Mathetha in the first round or so. I think Cosce is going to be taking him down. Mathetha is going to work his way back up to his feet. I'll just call him Blood Diamond because I don't know if you guys know about British accents, but we don't like the TH. It's all F. So I'm going to call him Blood Diamond, otherwise I'll have an aneurysm or give myself a permanent lisp. Either way, Orion Cosce, Blood Diamond, I think he's going to keep taking him down. Blood Diamond works his way back up to his feet over and over again. Orion Cosce takes him down again, punches him a couple of times against the cage. Round 1 goes to Orion Cosce. Round 2, Mike Mathetha starts sneaking him some knees to the body. Gets taken down again, but works his way back up. Starts winning in the total strike exchange. Knees to the body again. Has some moments on the feet as well early on in round 2. But Cosce still trying to take him down and use that control. And eventually gets him down for good. But Mathetha gets back up and then gets back to his feet against the cage. Kneeing to the body on the defense. Cosce takes him down again. Round 2 is going to be Cosce's round in terms of control. But the judges will give it to Blood Diamond because of damage, I believe. And then round 3, I think we can start to see those knees to the body start adding up on Orion Cosce. The weight cut was quite bad for him as well, so I can see him slowing down in round 3. Mike Mathetha landing more knees to the body, a couple of good leg kicks at range as well, a couple of decent punches at range, and then starting to beat up Cosce on the feet and finish him in the third round by TKO. Moving on up the card, Nicolae Negumereanu versus Ihor Potieria. I'm going to be going with Nicolae Negumereanu. And I think I'm going to pick him by KO here as well. I think Ihor Potieria is going to start fast, looking for some big shots. I think he's going to have some success early on. They're going to get scrappy straight away. And I think after that initial chaos, things are going to start to calm down a little bit, and that's where we're going to see Nicolae Negumereanu start to be more patient, a little bit more controlled, start to find his range. Ihor Potieria keeps coming in for some big shots and trying to land these combination punches and flurries. Maybe a couple of them land, but Nicolae keeps up a good defense and lands a couple of shots back and starts chopping at the legs a bit at range, starts to settle into the fight a bit more, and then towards the end of the first round, I think we're going to see Nicolae Negumereanu land that big shot on Ihor Potieria and finish him in the first round by TKO. Once he finds his distance and the chaos slows down a little bit, I think that KO is going to come quite naturally to him. Nicolae Negumereanu gets this one done. Moving on. Joselyne Edwards versus Yeon Kim. I think I'm going to see a Yeon Kim split decision win by 29-28 decision. I can just see Yeon Kim getting this one done. I like Joselyne Edwards, but I think she's a little bit too one-dimensional by throwing that front kick to the body and the kicks in general. And I think with Yeon Kim, she's got such long arms for a female fighter. I think it catches a lot of fighters off guard. So I can see Joselyne Edwards start loading up front kicks and leg kicks on the back foot and stuff like that. And I can see Yeon Kim landing big punches over the top on Joselyne Edwards. I don't see really any grappling going down in this fight, but I see as the fight goes on, maybe Joselyne Edwards has some success early, but I can see Yeon Kim pushing in the second and third round, landing some big shots over the top of the kicks of Joselyne Edwards. Edwards is still going to land good shots. Round 1's going to be hers. Round 2 is going to be close, but Yeon Kim might finish really strong and start having some moments where she hurts Joselyne and starts landing to the body and the head against the cage. And then round 3, I think, is going to be pretty clearly Yeon Kim, 29-28 unanimous decision or split decision based on the last 2 rounds. Moving on up the card, Michael Morales versus Adam Fugitt. I'm going to be going with Michael Morales here, and I think it's going to be a second round TKO win for Michael Morales. No, second round submission. I think he gets a dash choke over Adam Fugitt here. I think Adam Fugitt early on is going to be landing some decent shots. Morales is going to have to compose himself, land a couple of decent shots back, start finding his jab, start finding his range. Adam Fugitt's going to try a couple of takedowns. They'll end up against a cage a little bit, and Morales will be punching him in the face. Fugitt will be kneeing him to the thigh and punching him to the body. They'll separate a couple of times. As they continue to go in the first round, I think Michael Morales is going to be more successful with the stand-up, land like a big head kick, but Fugitt uses it to take him down, and then Michael Morales has to work his way back up to his feet. Fugitt takes him down again. Morales gets back up. Couple of punches in the clinch. They separate. Big shots from Michael Morales towards the end of round 1. Maybe you can give it to Fugitt. Maybe you can give it to Morales. Who knows? Round 2, I think Morales is going to find his timing way quicker. I think he's going to be more on point in round 2, more used to things, landing some big shots on Adam Fugitt. Massive shots start landing in the middle of round 2 from Michael Morales. He stuffs a couple of takedowns. He lands another few big shots. Fugitt shoots another bad takedown, and Michael Morales cinches up a dash choke and submits him in round 2. Moving on to the prelims, Drakkar Klose versus Rafa Garcia. I'm going to be going with Drakkar Klose by 30-27 decision. I think Rafa Garcia is tough enough not to get finished here by Drakkar Klose, but I can also see him being sort of like too one-dimensional to really get anything done. I think the first round's going to be somewhat competitive, but I think Drakkar Klose is going to land a lot of those calf kicks, a lot of good shots to the face as well, a lot of good shots to the body at range. They're going to clinch up a couple of times, and nothing really is going to happen in those positions. So I think it's going to be like a patient stand-up clinic where Drakkar Klose wins the first round minorly, wins the second round quite clearly, and maybe wins the third round quite dominantly. Maybe gets like a standing 10-8, who knows. I see Rafa Garcia being tough enough to make it a distance, but I see Drakkar Klose being smart enough and technical enough to win this fight 30-27 as the fight goes on. Drakkar Klose gets this one done, edging out every round. Moving on, up the card, Don'Tale Mayes versus Hamdy Abdelwahab. I think Hamdy Abdelwahab is going to start so fast. I think he's going to try closing the distance early on, maybe get the clinch a couple of times, try and take down Don'Tale Mayes, get him down, but Mayes uses the cage to get back up and stuff like that. Hamdy takes him down again, Mayes uses the cage to get back up, down again, back up, down again, back up. Don'Tale Mayes punching him in the clinch, kneeing him to the body. Hamdy separates, lands like a big barrage of shots, and Mayes has to move and recover, and he's on the back foot, and Hamdy's chasing him down, thinking he's got him hurt, racing him down, landing big shots, looking for massive shots. Haymaker, 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 shoots a takedown, gets him down again. Mayes gets back up. Hamdy still swinging against the cage, takes him down again. Mayes gets back up, and then we're going to see in the second round a gassed out Hamdy Abdelwahab. Don'Tale Mayes keeping the body a couple of times, starting to get his jab going as well, starting to land some right hands. Hamdy shooting a couple of takedowns. Mayes getting back up, but now as he's getting back up, he's finding underhooks, kneeing to the body of Hamdy Abdelwahab. Hamdy goes for a big brawl against the cage again, starts getting sloppy, and Don'Tale Mayes catches him in the brawl with a counter shot, rocks him badly, starts going for him. Hamdy shoots a bad takedown. Mayes sprawls it, pushes him backwards, gets on top in half guard, TKO to elbows of ground and pound. Don'Tale Mayes gets this one done by TKO late in the second. Moving on, Drew Dober versus Rafael Alves. Absolute anarchy is what I'm predicting. Rafael Alves wins the first round. Drew Dober wins the last two. I think Rafael Alves is going to come out strong, look for a big moment. I think Drew Dober is going to be landing some leg kicks at range, a couple of shots here and there. And Rafael Alves, I believe, is going to hurt Drew Dober early and go for like a guillotine attempt, but Drew Dober is going to escape it and end up on top and land a couple of big shots. Rafael Alves works his way back up to his feet, starts landing some good shots on the feet again, but things are starting to slow down a bit now. Drew Dober lands some more good shots back, some good knees to the body in the over-under position, some body shots with the hands as well. Rafael Alves hurts him again. Drew Dober's moving, ducking, diving, swinging back, but Rafael Alves is going crazy, looking for a moment, takes down Drew Dober, looks to get a submission, but Drew Dober defends it and gets out of it and survives that position. Maybe he gets his back taken in the first round, and I think all of that effort in the first finish from Rafael Alves is going to start to pay on him as the fight goes on. Drew Dober wins the second round. First part of the second round is going to be interesting. Second round, we see Drew Dober start to take over with his punches, landing some big shots, hurting Rafael Alves in one moment, but not being too crazy and sort of slowing it down and being patient. Round 3, I think Drew Dober's going to mess him up badly, and I think he's going to win the round 3, 10-8, landing big ground and pound, looking for a finish. Rafael Alves keeps him honest with a couple of submission attempts on bottom after maybe being rocked and shooting a bad takedown and giving guard and stuff stuff like that. Drew Dober starts to land ground and pound. He's winning the fight on the feet as well. I'm going to say 29-27 to Drew Dober based on a 10-8 round in round 3. We move on to another fight on the card. Alex Morono. I'm running out of breath. Alex Morono versus Matthew Semelsberger. I'm going to go Matthew Semelsberger first round KO is what I'm going to go with. I think Alex Morono is going to be landing some good shots early on. Pitter-patter shots here and there. Semelsberger is going to be showing some good defense, rolling with a lot of the shots, landing some good leg kicks on Alex Morono. Morono's going to start kicking back a little bit with some body kicks off the lead leg and leg kicks of his own, but Semelsberger's are going to be way more powerful and way more impactful. Semelsberger lands a couple of big shots on Morono whenever he goes in for some boxing exchanges. Morono still coming forward, looking for some moments. Couple jabs here and there. 1-1-2, gets rolled with and bounces off the card of Matthew Semelsberger. I think we're going to see a lot of good defense from Matthew Semelsberger here. Rolling with shots, bouncing them off his gloves. Then Alex Morono is going to start to try and mix kicks in off of his punches. 1-2 body kick. Semelsberger still chopping his leg. It's affecting him a little bit as the fight goes on. Morono starts trying to mix in some body kicks. Matthew Semelsberger is going to time him on one of those body kicks, step through, land a right hand over the top, rock Morono badly, go in, finish him off against the cage with a vicious combo. A massive big finish in the first round from Matthew Semelsberger. Moving on up the card. Magomed Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith. I think we're going to see... I hope we don't. I think we're going to see a lackluster performance from Anthony Smith where he survives. And I think we're going to see a boring fight in general. I think the first round's going to be interesting. Smith's going to land a couple of shots, but Ankalaev's going to take him well. Ankalaev chopping at the leg, Smith chopping at the leg. Both guys going back and forth. Teep to the body from Ankalaev. Smith jabs at the body and moves and jabs to the head. And then Ankalaev jabs back and lands a right hand and is very patient in the first round. They end up against the cage, kneeing each other in the body, punching each other to the body, punching each other to the head. They separate. Ankalaev tries a takedown. He doesn't quite get it. Smith threatens a guillotine but doesn't go for it. They separate, land some pitter-patter shots on the feet again. And I think as the fight goes on, Ankalaev will start chopping the legs more and more. Smith will start trying to land some big punches and come forward with combos, but get caught a couple of times as he's rushing in for these big moments. Ankalaev staying patient. Couple of kicks from Ankalaev. He throws a head kick that kind of sort of wraps around the guard of Anthony Smith. Smith comes in again, tries a takedown, can't get it. Ankalaev ends up pushing him down, ending up in half guard on top. And I think we just see Smith shell up for the last 2 rounds and not really make anything happen in those last 2 rounds. And I think Ankalaev's going to start getting the better of him, elbowing him to the ribs, punching him to the head, hurting his nose, hurting his ears, hurting his eyes, swollen up the eye of Smith, busted one of his lips as well in the exchange, and some ground and pound moments as well. I think Magomed Ankalaev's going to win the fight as it goes on, and Anthony Smith is going to start shelling up, being defeated, being a beaten man as the fight goes on, and just sort of accepting defeat in that 3rd round as well. Looking for a big moment, shooting, not getting it, trying to pull guard. Ankalaev ends up on top and just scores him in that 3rd round on top as well. Half guard, total strikes. I think it's going to be a snooze fest from Ankalaev, but I think he's going to win it. 29-28 on one judge's scorecard, 30-27 on the other 2. Maybe you can give Smith the 1st round. Moving on. Up the card, Alexandre Pantoja versus Alex Perez. A 3-round scrap. I think that Alexandre Pantoja is going to win the first 2 rounds. I think Perez is going to win the last round. And I think it's going to be an interesting bout. I think Perez is going to use those leg kicks, but I think Pantoja is going to be timing him early on with those and landing his own leg kicks as well and going off the lead leg with some body kicks to sort of counteract the leg kicks from Alex Perez, landing some big body kicks on Perez, landing some good headshots as well, landing some big punches, taking him down, taking his back, getting on the back in the first round, looking for a rear naked. The round's over. Round 2, same thing again. Pantoja sort of kicking with the lead leg, landing some good punches. Perez landing some big punches back, but Pantoja shoots, gets it. Perez gets back up. Pantoja pushes him up against the cage, knees him to the leg, punches him to the body, takes the back position, knees him to the thigh a bunch more times, punch him to the body again, 1 hook in, couple of punches to the head from Alexandre Pantoja, separates, both guys land some good shots. Pantoja takes him down again, gets the back position, puts in the body lock, looking for the rear naked choke again, trying to cinch it up. Perez escapes it, survives it. Round 2's over, 2 rounds to Pantoja. Perez's leg kicks are starting to take an effect. He's starting to win some of the scrambles when Pantoja takes his back. He ends up on top for a second and starts landing some shots and then stands it back up. Chops at the leg of Pantoja again. The leg's starting to bug Pantoja a bit with a little bit left to go in the 3rd round. Perez starts landing some decent shots. Pantoja starts swinging back. In the last 30 seconds, they start scrapping back and forth, looking for a finish on each other. And then eventually Pantoja shoots, gets Perez down, and Perez is sort of like on the ground, looking defeated. He hasn't done enough. 29-28 Pantoja based on the first 2 rounds. Moving on. Derek Lewis versus Sergey Pavlovich. I'm going to be going with Sergey Pavlovich by 1st round KO. I think we're going to see Sergey Pavlovich go out there, land a couple of big jabs on Derek Lewis. Both guys land some shots here and there. Pavlovich sort of like gets hit a bit and stumbles back a bit, but he's good. He takes it well. Leg kick from Sergey Pavlovich. He pushes Lewis up against the cage, knees him to the thigh a couple of times, punches him in the clinch. Lewis does that little hip toss thing that he does, but doesn't quite get it, and Pavlovich gets back up and gets back into double unders, knees Lewis to the thigh a couple of times again, punches him in the face a couple of times, punches him in the body a couple of times. They separate. Both guys looking to land big shots on each other. Jabs from Pavlovich are stinging back the head of Lewis. He's trying to counter him, but he can't quite find his timing. He lands a good shot. Pavlovich sort of like steps back, gives him some respect. Lewis comes in for another big sequence of punches. Pavlovich sits back, lands like a counter big right hand on Derek Lewis as he comes in, stumbles Lewis a little bit. Lewis is backing up against the cage. Pavlovich pushes him there, knee to the body, knee to the thigh, punches to the face against the cage. They separate. Lewis still swinging. Pavlovich finds like an uppercut in the moment as well in the exchange. Separates, right hand, left hand, head position against the cage. Punch, 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 punch. Lewis starts going down against the cage. More big punches from Sergey Pavlovich. TKO to ground and pound from him. Round 1. Moving on. Up the card. Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara-France. 48-47 Brandon Moreno. I think he's going to win the last 3 rounds. I think Kai Kara-France is going to win the first 2 rounds. I think Kai Kara-France, if I describe the rounds, how they're going to go, the 2 rounds that he wins, I think are going to be the first and the second. I think he's going to drop Brandon Moreno in the first. It's going to be a big moment. He's going to sort of tumble him off balance. But Brandon Moreno's going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be too injured or wounded or like rocked or concussed. I think he'll like recover himself quite easily. But Kai Kara-France lands a big shot in the first. And that's like all the moment that there is in the first, other than some leg kicks back and forth and jabs from Moreno landing. Kai Kara-France wins the first round. He wins the second round as well. Lands a few more shots. Maybe like stumbles Moreno with a big shot, and Moreno's just trying to keep the jab out there and leg kick his own way, and Kara-France lands some leg kicks and maybe like takes Moreno off his feet with a leg kick at one point, lands a couple of big shots there. And then round 2 or 3, things get really scrappy in the first moment of the round. Kara-France landing big shots over and over again, but Moreno's starting to stay in the pocket and win the exchanges with like multiple punch combinations. Kara-France is bloodied up, his eyes starting to get a bit bloody, he's cut open. Moreno's cut open as well. I know he has a cut going into this fight, so I think he'll be cut open. Then round 3, at the end of it, Moreno starts to take over, lands a big flurry, takes the back of Kara-France at the end against a cage, looks for something there. Round 4, Moreno starts winning it with the jab. Kara-France is trying to leg kick him, but Moreno's moving out of the way of it. Leg kicking Kara-France, punching him to the body, punching him to the head. Kara-France landing some big shots, but there's not much sting on him anymore. So I think Moreno's going to land some combos and out-trade him in the pocket exchanges. Round 5, Moreno starts schooling Kara-France. He doesn't fear the power anymore. He starts landing some big shots. Kara-France gets stumbled a little bit. Moreno pours it on against the cage. Kara-France stays in there and swings back, and it's a great moment. They start sort of taunting each other in the center of the cage. Moreno starting to put on some bravado and stuff like that. Moreno landing his jab still towards the end. And that's it. 48-47 Brandon Moreno. Moving on. Julianna Pena versus Amanda Nunes. I think Amanda Nunes is winning early on. She takes down Pena at one point. She jabs Pena a couple of times. She wins the jabs early on. Lands a couple of good kicks to the leg as well. And I think Julianna Pena is going to be on the ground, threatening arm bars. Amanda Nunes will escape, end up on top, land a couple of shots. Julianna Pena will threaten something else like a leg lock. Amanda Nunes will escape, get back on top, land some shots. Pena will get back up to her feet. Nunes will take her down again. Round 2. Things are a little bit closer. Nunes wins that round as well, though. She does a little bit more in the clinch, a little bit more control against the cage. Pena gets a takedown at one moment and threatens something, but Nunes gets back up. They start trading on the feet. Nunes is just out jabbing her. Pena can't quite get her timing yet. Nunes is landing some good leg kicks as well, but Pena's staying in there, throwing a couple of shots back here and there, pushing Nunes up against the cage at the end of it, punching her, kneeing her to the thigh, stuff like that. Round 3, I think they're both going to be scrapping out like they were in round 2 of the first fight. Both girls swinging. Pena lands, Nunes lands, Pena lands, Nunes lands. Pena pushes her up against the cage and sort of knees her to the thigh, punches her to the body, punches her to the head, takes her down. Nunes gets back up. Nunes tries to like hip toss Pena. Pena goes for a leg. They stand it back up. Both girls land on the feet again. And I think in round 4, they start to get scrappy. Pena times a great takedown, ends up on top, passes over into half guard. As Nunes is trying to get back up, she gives up her back. And Julianna Pena chokes her out in round 4. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip, I'll see you later. Goodbye.